Your absence of words doesn't merely fade into oblivion in her realm. It erupts profoundly. As you withdraw to seek solace, she descends into turmoil. This isn't a tactic of control. It's an exploration of what your reticence truly ignites in a woman's psyche and why it resonates more deeply than any utterance. First, your silence activates her innate vigilance mechanism. You perceive reticence as an impartial stance, a method to decompress, reflect, or safeguard your equilibrium. Yet for a woman deeply attuned to you emotionally, silence isn't an emptiness. It's an indicator. It awakens her every internal safeguard. When a man recedes effectively, even unintentionally, it registers as desertion. Not due to dependency, but because her autonomic responses are attuned to relational bonds. She perceives with her full essence, beyond mere audition. When communication ceases, she experiences no serenity. She senses vulnerability. It's not the duration without contact that matters. It's the vitality that vanishes alongside it. The lack of your presence feels like a withdrawal of affection, and her cognition doesn't remain idle. It populates each void you create with narratives, often distressing ones. Second, she scrutinizes her own value before challenging yours. Here's the stark reality. A woman's initial response to silence is self-reproach. Was my expression excessive? Did I overextend? Perhaps I fall short. She dissects the prior exchange. Every phrase, every nuance, she transforms into an analyst examining relational evidence, seeking signs of her missteps. Simply because you've left her in uncertainty, regardless of her apparent assurance, autonomy, or stability. If she invests emotionally, she interrogates, not from fragility, but because intimacy exposes us to subtle disruptions. Third, she populates the voids with her deepest apprehensions. Silence is an unmarked canvas, and absent your input, her intellect will inscribe it. She evokes prior bonds where quietude signified disloyalty. She recollects the gradual erosion of engagement from one who once affirmed her, and she whispers to herself that history may repeat. She engages not for theatrics. She seeks resolution. And when you provide none, she authors her own with sorrowful prose and uneasy emphasis. You might reside in tranquility, but in her domain she navigates ambiguity. For her, that's anguish. Fourth, she ceases communication, not from harmony, but from distress. In time, her expressions quieten as well, but interpret that reticence not as disengagement. Her silence brims with unsent missives, erased reflections, and sentiments she deems unsafe to share. Why? Because she's discerned that her openness was disregarded. Each instance of disclosure met with retreat, she noted and archived it. Now she shields herself with the instrument of her injury, silence. She's not maneuvering strategically. She's not probing you. She's weary. Fifth, she commences detachment while yearning for your recognition. This is the most challenging phase. Amid her withdrawal, she still anticipates your advocacy for the connection. She monitors her device, revisits your final exchanges, searching for traces of "I remain committed." Yet each instant of continued quietude, each postponement of transparency, validates her concerns. Eventually, she relinquishes expectation. Not by choice, but because lingering in ambiguity is too painful. She opts for self-prioritization subtly, not in resentment, but for self-protection. And once a woman resolves thus, she advances without regret. Sixth, she deciphers the dialect of your reticence. Women possess keen intuition. They detect alterations before you acknowledge them. She notices your postponed responses, concise replies, waning ardor, and she requires no verbal declaration of "I've concluded." She senses it in the intervals. You believe you're concealing adeptly, but your silence communicates eloquently. It conveys all she must comprehend. She merely wished her perception erred, but with each day of distance. You affirm her insight was accurate. Seventh, she commences self-censorship to diminish her presence. Prior to departure, she attempts one final adjustment, contraction. She crafts briefer communications, withholds admissions of longing, ceases initiation, suppresses articulation, halts inquiries. Why? Your silence instructed her that her feelings are overly emphatic, burdensome. Thus, she revises the facets of her being you once professed to cherish, aiming to retain you. The profound tragedy, She erodes her essence while clinging to one already disengaging. Eighth, she forgoes the need for resolution. She forges it. If your reticence aimed to elicit pursuit, to compel pleas for insight, you've misjudged her caliber. She won't pursue. She'll confront her sorrow. She'll navigate her mourning. She'll embrace the hush as your conclusive statement. Then she'll reconstruct her serenity within it. Expect no theatrical departure. No clashes, no fervent appeals. You'll simply observe that she ceased participation one day. Not from ceased affection, but from realizing her love was unreciprocated. Thus, if you're employing silence to convey a point, grasp this. She's no longer perplexed. She absorbed every implication of your quietude, and now she heeds her own voice. If your stillness intended retribution, she triumphed by selecting clarity over disarray. Never undervalue the resonance of reticence. For when a woman halts inquiries, efforts, and ultimately concern, she hasn't faltered.